The doors slammed open. Maya lifted her wedding dress with both hands and ran. Her heels slipped against the polished marble floor as gasps exploded behind her, but she didn't stop. The music had already started. The guests were already seated. The officiant was already waiting at the altar, and the groom still wasn't there. "Daniel?" she called, her voice echoing down the corridor. "Daniel, this isn't funny." Her phone vibrated in her hand. She nearly cried with relief as she looked down, until she saw the timestamp. Scheduled message, sent 3 minutes ago. Her heart skipped. She pressed play while still running. His voice came through the speaker, low and urgent, nothing like the calm man she had kissed that morning. "Maya, if you're hearing this, then I didn't make it to the wedding." She stopped so suddenly that her veil slid forward over her eyes. "What?" she whispered. "Please listen carefully," his voice continued. "Do not look for me. Do not ask questions. And whatever you do, trust no one, especially someone you love." The message ended. The hallway felt too quiet. Her fingers trembled as she hit replay. Again and again. "Especially someone you love," she murmured. Behind her, footsteps approached. "Maya!" Her maid of honor, Claire, rushed toward her. "Everyone's panicking. The guests think this is part of some surprise." Maya's lips parted, but no sound came out. "Where's Daniel?" Claire asked softly. Maya locked her phone screen and forced a smile that felt like it might crack her face in half. "Probably stuck in traffic. I'll handle it." Claire studied her. "Are you okay?" "Yes," Maya said too quickly. "I just need a minute." She turned and walked into the bridal suite, shutting the door behind her and locking it. The moment the latch clicked, she collapsed onto the couch. Her breathing came in sharp, uneven bursts. Daniel didn't joke like that. He hated pranks. He hated surprises. He hated anything that involved lying to her. And he would never, never miss their wedding. She dialed his number. Straight to voicemail. Again. Voicemail. She texted, "Where are you?" No reply. Her chest tightened. Images rushed through her mind. Car accident, hospital, something horrible. But the message didn't sound like fear of death. It sounded planned. She stood up and looked around the room, suddenly uneasy. The mirrors, the flowers, the soft music playing faintly from the hall. It all felt wrong. Her phone buzzed again. Unknown number. Her pulse spiked as she answered. "Daniel?" A pause. Then a man's voice. Calm. Flat. "He told you not to look for him." Her blood turned cold. "Who is this?" "You're safer if you don't know." "Where is he?" she demanded. "If you've hurt him—" "He's alive," the man interrupted. "For now." Maya stood, her knees shaking. "What do you want?" "Nothing," he said. "You already have everything you need." The call ended. She stared at the screen, her reflection faintly visible on the black glass. Her own face looked unfamiliar, pale, frightened, cracked with confusion. A knock sounded at the door. "Maya?" her mother's voice called. "The officiant says we need to make a decision." Maya swallowed hard. She opened the door and stepped back into the noise. Whispers followed her like smoke as she walked toward the altar alone. The empty space beside her felt massive. She stood there for 30 seconds, then a minute. Finally, she lifted her chin. "I'm sorry," she said into the microphone, her voice shaking. "There's been an emergency. We'll have to postpone." Gasps rippled through the room. Someone muttered, "He left her." Maya heard it. It cut deeper than she expected. That night, the venue emptied. The flowers wilted. The cake went untouched. And Maya sat alone in her apartment, still in her wedding dress, staring at Daniel's laptop on the table. She hadn't planned to open it, but something in her gut told her this wasn't about cold feet. She powered it on. Password required. She tried his birthday. Wrong. Their anniversary. Wrong. Her hands hovered. Then she typed the word he always whispered to her when she was anxious. Breathe. The laptop unlocked. Her stomach dropped. A folder sat on the desktop. No label, just a red dot beside it. She clicked. Inside were audio files, dates, times, and one document titled, "If I Disappear." Read this last. Maya's throat tightened. She didn't read it, not yet. Instead, she opened the first audio file. Daniel's voice filled the room again, but this time he wasn't talking to her. "You said she wouldn't be involved," he said quietly. Another voice responded, familiar, too familiar. "We never said that." Maya's breath caught. She leaned closer to the speaker as her hands began to shake, because she recognized that voice, and it belonged to someone who had hugged her earlier that morning. Maya's heart slammed against her ribs as the recording continued. "You're getting sloppy," Daniel said. "You promised this wouldn't touch her." A soft laugh followed, casual, almost amused. "You're emotional," the other voice replied. "That's dangerous." Maya's hands flew to her mouth. She knew that laugh. She had heard it her entire life. "Dad," she whispered. Her knees buckled, and she sank onto the floor. The laptop balanced precariously on the couch above her. The room spun, but the voices kept going, merciless. "You think I wanted her involved?" her father said. "But she's connected now, whether you like it or not." Daniel's voice sharpened. "She has nothing to do with this. She doesn't even know what you do." "That's the problem," her father replied calmly. "She knows nothing, which makes her useful." Maya gasped out loud. "No, no, no, no." The audio cut off. Her fingers trembled as she clicked the next file. This one started with breathing, heavy, uneven. Daniel again. "I didn't agree to this." "You don't have a choice anymore," her father said. "You saw the accounts. You saw the transfers. If you talk, you destroy her life along with mine." Silence. Then Daniel spoke, quieter now. "If anything happens to her, I swear—" "You'll do nothing," her father interrupted, "because you love her." Maya slammed the laptop shut. Her chest burned like she couldn't pull in enough air. Her father, the man who walked her down the aisle, the man who cried during the rehearsal dinner, the man who kissed her forehead that morning and said, "Today is the happiest day of my life." She stumbled to the bathroom and vomited. When she looked up at the mirror, mascara streaked her face like dark cracks. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number again. She didn't want to answer, but she did. "You listened," the man said. "You lied," Maya whispered. "You said he was alive." "He is," the voice replied. "But every hour you dig, that becomes less certain." Tears spilled freely now. "Why are you doing this to me?" A pause. "Because he made a choice," the man said. "And now you're part of it." The line went dead. Maya slid down the wall and cried until her chest hurt. By morning, she hadn't slept. She replayed every moment of the past few months, every late-night call her father took, every sudden business trip, every time Daniel went silent after visiting him. How hadn't she seen it? Her phone lit up with messages. Where did he go? Is the wedding canceled for good? Did he leave you? She ignored them all. At noon, her father knocked on her door. "Maya," he called gently. "Sweetheart, I'm worried." Her body went rigid. She opened the door slowly. He stood there holding a bag of pastries, eyes full of concern. "You didn't answer your phone," he said. "I thought maybe you needed company." She stared at him, searching his face for something. Guilt, fear, cruelty. She saw none. "Did you know?" she asked quietly. He blinked. "Know what?" Her throat tightened. "That Daniel wasn't coming." A flicker. Just a second. Gone almost immediately. "I assumed he panicked," he said softly. "Weddings do that to people." She studied him. "You talked to him," she said. "Yes," he admitted. "I told him he'd better not hurt you." Her nails dug into her palm. "What else did you tell him?" He sighed, stepping inside uninvited. "Maya, please, you're exhausted. Let's not do this today." Her voice shook. "What did you tell him, Dad?" He met her eyes. "Enough," he said gently. "Enough to protect my family." The words sent a chill down her spine. That night, she opened the final document. "If I disappear." Read this last. Her hands hovered for a long moment before she clicked. Maya, if you're reading this, I need you to believe something before anything else. I did not leave you. Tears blurred her vision. Your father is in trouble. Serious trouble. And he dragged you into it without knowing it. The moment I realized that, I knew one thing. The wedding couldn't happen. Not because I don't love you, but because loving you means making sure you live. Her chest tightened painfully. They were watching us. Our apartment. Your phone. Even the venue. If I showed up, you would have become leverage. So I disappeared. She covered her mouth as sobs escaped her. I left trails they would follow. I let them believe I panicked. I needed their eyes off you. You must not tell anyone what you know, not even your father, especially not him. A final line waited at the bottom. If they contact you, remember this. Fear is how they control people. Do not let them see yours. Maya closed the laptop slowly. Her hands no longer shook. Her fear was still there, but something else had joined it. Resolve. She wasn't just a confused bride anymore. She was the reason Daniel vanished, and if she wanted him back alive, she would have to stop being afraid. Maya didn't confront her father again, not because she forgave him, but because Daniel's words echoed in her head every time she looked at him. Do not let them see your fear. So she smiled. She answered messages. She told people the wedding was postponed until things settled. And every night, when her father thought she was asleep, she listened. She placed her phone face down on the dresser and used an old recorder Daniel had once given her, just in case. She didn't know what that case was supposed to be back then. Now she did. At 1:17 a.m. on the third night after the wedding, her father's voice drifted through the hallway. Low, controlled. Yes, he said. She suspects nothing. Maya's stomach twisted. No, I've kept her close. She's grieving, confused. A pause. I understand the risk, but Daniel made himself the problem, not her. Her fingers clenched around the recorder. So we wait, her father continued. He'll surface eventually. He always does. Maya turned off the device, heart pounding. They were hunting him. The next morning, she found her car tires slashed. A warning. Her phone buzzed an hour later. Unknown number. She answered. You're moving too carefully, the man said. Maya forced her voice steady. I don't know what you're talking about. A soft chuckle. Good. Keep practicing that tone. What do you want from me? She asked. Nothing yet, he replied. But curiosity gets people killed. Tell your father that. The line went dead. That night she dreamed of Daniel standing at the altar alone, blood dripping from his hand as he tried to smile at her. She woke up screaming. The next day, a package arrived. No return address. Inside was Daniel's watch. The glass was cracked. Beneath it lay a note written in his handwriting. They're getting closer. Maya's knees nearly gave out. She clutched the watch to her chest, tears soaking into the leather strap. He's alive, she whispered. He's alive. Her father noticed the change immediately. You seem stronger, he said over dinner. That worries me. She looked up, forcing a small smile. I'm just tired of crying. He studied her for a long moment. You don't need to be brave with me. The words made her skin crawl. Later that evening, Claire came by. I miss him too, Claire said softly, hugging her. I know everyone's whispering, but I never believed he left you. Maya stiffened slightly in her arms. The voice from the recording flashed through her mind. Claire pulled back. What? Nothing, Maya said quickly. Just, do you think people really disappear on purpose? Claire frowned. That's random. Just curious. Claire hesitated. Sometimes, usually when they're protecting someone. Maya's heart skipped. How would you know that? Claire looked away. My brother was a detective. He said people don't run from love. They run toward it, or away from danger. Maya nodded slowly. That night, she made a decision. If Daniel was hiding, then he needed to know she was safe. She turned on her phone's front camera and recorded herself. I'm okay, she whispered. I understand now. I'm not afraid. She paused, swallowing. I miss you, but I'll wait. She saved the video and uploaded it privately with a title only Daniel would recognize. Breathe. 2 days passed. Then her phone buzzed at 2:43 a.m. unknown number. This time when she answered, she heard breathing, then his voice. Maya. She covered her mouth to keep from crying out loud. Daniel, she whispered. Oh my God. I can't talk long, he said quickly. They're monitoring channels I didn't expect. I know, she said. I know about my dad. Silence. You shouldn't have found that, he said quietly. I'm not angry, she said. I'm scared for you. A faint sound, movement, maybe footsteps. They think I broke under pressure, he said. That I ran. That's working for now. Where are you? I can't say. Are you hurt? A pause. Too long. Daniel? She whispered. I'm okay, he said. But she knew it was a lie. Listen to me. If anything happens, you must leave the city. I'm not leaving without you. Maya, he said sharply. Promise me. Her eyes filled with tears. I can't. His voice softened. You're the reason I'm still breathing. Don't make this meaningless. Before she could answer, the call dropped. She sat in the darkness, shaking. The next morning, police cars appeared outside her father's office building. News headlines exploded. Local businessman questioned in financial investigation. Her father came home furious. They're fishing, he snapped, trying to scare me. Maya kept her face neutral, but that night she heard him shouting into his phone. They're closing in. I told you this was happening. A crash followed. Then silence. At dawn, she found his office empty. Files missing, laptop gone, and on his desk, Daniel's watch, placed carefully in the center. Maya stared at it, heart racing. This wasn't coincidence. This was a message. Someone was forcing her father's hand, and Daniel was right in the middle of it. Maya didn't sleep that night. She sat on the edge of her bed, Daniel's cracked watch resting in her palm, staring at the door as if someone might burst through it at any moment. By morning, her father still hadn't returned. No calls, no messages, nothing. At 9:12 a.m., her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She answered immediately. Where is he? The man's voice came through smooth and unbothered. You're asking the wrong question. Her stomach tightened. Then tell me the right one. Ask yourself why Daniel is still alive. Her throat went dry. He's alive because he's useful, the man continued. Just like your father was. What do you want from me? She asked again, her voice trembling despite her effort to stay calm. A faint smile could be heard in his tone. We want you to choose. Choose what? Which man you lose. The line went dead. Maya dropped the phone. Her chest burned as panic rushed in, but she forced herself to breathe slowly, counting just like Daniel had taught her. 1, 2, 3. She wasn't going to collapse. Not now. She grabbed her keys and drove straight to Claire's apartment. When Claire opened the door, Maya broke. He's alive, she whispered. Daniel is alive. Claire's eyes widened. What? They're using him, and my father is missing. Claire pulled her inside quickly and locked the door. Start from the beginning. Maya told her everything, the recordings, the messages, the watch, the call. When she finished, Claire was pale. Maya, you need to go to the police. I can't, Maya said. They're already involved, and whoever this is, they're always one step ahead. Claire swallowed. Then we go somewhere safe. There is no safe, Maya replied quietly. That afternoon, Maya received a location pin. No message, just coordinates. Her phone buzzed again seconds later. Come alone. She stared at the screen, heart pounding. Claire shook her head. No, absolutely not. If I don't go, Maya said, they'll hurt him. They might hurt you. They already are, Maya replied. She left before Claire could stop her. The location led to an abandoned warehouse near the river. The air smelled of rust and oil as she stepped inside. "Daniel?" she called softly. A single light flickered on. He was sitting on a chair in the center of the room, hands bound, face bruised. "Daniel!" she cried, running toward him. "Stop!" his voice snapped. She froze. "You shouldn't be here," he said urgently. "You weren't supposed to come." "I couldn't stay away." Footsteps echoed behind her. The man finally stepped into the light, tall, clean-cut, ordinary. "That's love," he said calmly. "Always so predictable." Maya turned to face him. "Where's my father?" The man smiled faintly. "Alive, for now." Daniel struggled against the ropes. "Leave her out of this. You said she wasn't part of the deal." "You made her part of it when you refused to cooperate," the man replied evenly. Maya's voice shook. "What do you want?" The man looked at her thoughtfully. "Your father stole money that didn't belong to him, a lot of it. We need access to what remains." "I don't have anything," she said. "But you do," he replied. "You're the beneficiary." Her heart dropped. "He moved it into accounts under your name months ago, trust funds, shell companies. You just never noticed." Daniel closed his eyes in horror. "So here's the choice," the man continued. "Sign the transfer, and your father walks free." Maya's voice cracked. "And Daniel?" The man shrugged. "That depends on how cooperative he's been." "Don't," Daniel said desperately. "Maya, don't do it." She looked at him, bruised, exhausted, still trying to protect her. Tears streamed down her face. "If I sign," she whispered, "you'll let him go?" The man leaned closer. "I'll let one of you go." Silence swallowed the room. Maya felt something inside her snap. "No," she said quietly. The man raised an eyebrow. "I won't choose," she said louder. "You don't get to make me." His expression hardened. "Then you lose both." Before she could react, alarms began blaring outside. Red and blue lights flashed through the broken windows. The man swore under his breath. Daniel stared at her. "What did you do?" Maya's hands shook, but her voice didn't. "I stopped being afraid." Police flooded the warehouse. The man bolted. Shots echoed. Chaos erupted. An officer cut Daniel's ropes as Maya ran into his arms. They clung to each other as sirens screamed around them. Minutes later, her father was brought in, hands cuffed, face pale. He met her eyes. "I'm sorry," he whispered. Maya didn't respond, because she was staring at the man being dragged past her. The same man who had been calling her, the same man who had been threatening her, and the same man who now wore a badge. Detective Samuel Reed. Her breath caught. Daniel stiffened beside her. "He's not alone," Daniel whispered. "This goes deeper." Reed looked back at her as he was led away, and smiled. Maya didn't feel safe even with the police surrounding her, especially not with them surrounding her. As officers moved her and Daniel into separate ambulances, she kept searching the crowd for Detective Reed's face. He was gone. "No," she whispered. "No, no, no." A paramedic touched her shoulder. "Ma'am, you're in shock." "You don't understand," she said urgently. "He's not supposed to be free." The paramedic frowned. "Who?" "The detective." Before she could say more, Daniel's voice cut through the chaos. "Maya." She turned just in time to see him trying to push himself off the stretcher. "I'm here," she said quickly, rushing to him. "They're lying," he said through clenched teeth. "Reed isn't acting alone. He's the front man." "For who?" "For the people your father stole from." Her stomach dropped. "Then why arrest him?" Daniel shook his head. "They won't hold him. He'll disappear under internal investigation." And he was right. By morning, Reed was gone. Transferred. Files sealed. The official statement called the entire incident a misunderstanding involving private financial disputes. Maya laughed when she heard that. A broken, hollow sound. "That's it?" she asked the officer assigned to her. "People kidnapped my fiancé." The officer avoided her eyes. "Sometimes the system fails." Daniel squeezed her hand. which means we can't rely on it. They were released 2 days later. No charges, no protection, no answers. They returned to her apartment to find it ransacked, drawers pulled out, mattress sliced open, walls cracked. Someone had been searching for something. Daniel stood very still. They're looking for the backup. Maya frowned. Backup of what? He exhaled slowly. Your father kept physical records. He didn't trust digital storage. I copied everything. Where is it? Daniel met her eyes. Somewhere only you can access. Her heart pounded. What do you mean? You have it already. Realization hit her. The necklace, she whispered. The one her father gave her years ago. The one she never took off. They opened it. Inside, folded tighter than she thought possible, was a microdrive. Maya's breath caught. He hid it in me, she said faintly. Daniel nodded. Because no one would ever search you. That night, her phone rang again. Reed's voice. You're making this difficult, he said calmly. You tried to kill him, Maya snapped. Correction, Reed replied. I tried to motivate him. Stay away from us. A soft chuckle. You don't have that luxury. Daniel leaned close. Put him on speaker. Maya did. You're out of moves, Reed, Daniel said. We have the data. Silence. Then Reed spoke carefully. If that's true, you'd already be dead. A chill ran through Maya. Which means, Reed continued, you don't know what you're holding. The call ended. They didn't sleep. At dawn, Claire arrived breathless. There's something you need to see, she said, turning on the TV. The headline flashed, Witness in major corruption case found dead. Maya's blood ran cold. That was my father's accountant, Daniel whispered. He was supposed to testify. Claire covered her mouth. They're cleaning house, Maya said. Daniel looked at her with quiet certainty. Which means it's time. Time for what? To release everything. They uploaded the files anonymously to multiple journalists, international outlets, and independent investigators. Within hours, the story exploded. Names, transfers, bribes, law enforcement officials tied to illegal networks. Reed's name was everywhere. So was her father's. Arrest warrants were issued, assets frozen. The city erupted. That night, Maya and Daniel sat together on the floor of their dark apartment. It's not over, Maya whispered. No, Daniel agreed, but they won't touch you now. Too many eyes. She leaned her head on his shoulder. You missed our wedding. A sad smile crossed his face. I know. I waited at the altar, she said softly. I thought you didn't love me anymore. His voice broke. That almost killed me. She took his hand. You saved my life. He looked at her, eyes full. I would do it again. Her phone buzzed. One last message from an unknown number. You chose chaos. Let's see if you survive it. Maya locked the phone and set it aside. For the first time since the wedding day, she wasn't afraid, because whatever came next, they would face it together. The city didn't sleep after the leaks. Every screen glowed with breaking news. Every radio station repeated the same names. Every headline felt like a countdown. Maya and Daniel were moved to a temporary safe apartment by a federal task unit that appeared overnight. New faces, no uniforms, no promises. Don't trust anyone who says you're safe now, Daniel whispered as they were escorted inside. The agent pretended not to hear. That night, Maya woke to Daniel sitting upright in bed. What is it? She whispered. He was staring at the door. Someone's outside, he murmured. They listened. A soft click, then silence. Daniel reached for the phone, but the signal was gone. The lights cut out. Maya's breath caught. A voice came through the darkness. You really thought publicity would protect you? Reed. Maya's heart pounded. You're finished. Everyone knows your name. A flashlight flicked on, illuminating his face. Names don't end, men like me, he said calmly. Evidence does, and you still have something I need. Daniel stepped in front of her. You won't touch her. Reed smiled. That's what you said last time. A gun cocked. Maya's mind raced. The necklace, the microdrive. She slipped her hand beneath her shirt. "I'll give it to you," she said suddenly. Daniel turned. "Maya, it's okay," she said softly. "Trust me." Reed's eyes gleamed. Smart girl. She pulled out the necklace and held it up. Reed stepped closer, closer. When he reached for it, she smashed it against the floor. The microdrive shattered. Reed froze. For the first time, fear flickered across his face. "You idiot!" he hissed. "Do you know what you've done?" "Yes," Maya said, her voice steady. "I made sure you'll never control anyone with it again." Sirens wailed outside. Reed bolted, but agents poured in from every direction. He was tackled to the ground, screaming. "You think this ends me?" he shouted at Maya. "You think love wins?" She met his eyes. "Yes." He was dragged away. This time, there was no smile. Months passed. Trials began. Names fell. Systems cracked. Her father pleaded guilty. He didn't ask for forgiveness, only said one thing to her through the glass. "I never meant for you to be the cost." Maya replied quietly, "But I was." She and Daniel stood together on a cliff overlooking the ocean weeks later. No cameras, no guests, no music, just wind. "You still want to marry me?" she asked softly. Daniel smiled. "I never stopped." They didn't wear rings. They didn't sign papers. They just promised each other something simple. "I choose you," she said. "I choose you," he replied. Sometimes love doesn't need witnesses, only truth. Years later, Maya would still think about that wedding day. Not with pain, but with clarity. Because the groom didn't come. Not because he didn't love her, but because loving her meant disappearing. The night after Reed's arrest felt too quiet. Maya lay awake beside Daniel, staring at the ceiling of the small coastal cabin they had rented under false names. The waves outside rolled in steadily, calm and indifferent, as if the world hadn't nearly collapsed beneath them months earlier. She should have felt peace. Instead, her chest felt tight. "Daniel," she whispered. He turned toward her immediately. "You're not sleeping either." "I keep thinking it's not over." He didn't answer right away. That scared her more than a lie would have. Finally, he said, "People like Reed don't believe in endings. They believe in pauses." Her throat tightened. "So what do we do during the pause?" He brushed his thumb gently across her knuckles. "We live." 2 days later, the call came. A blocked number. Maya stared at the screen as it vibrated on the table between them. Daniel's jaw tightened. "Don't answer." But something inside her already knew. She picked up. "Maya," a familiar voice said. "Not Reed. Her father." She froze. "I was told you might not take my call," he said quietly. "I wouldn't blame you." She swallowed hard. "How did you get this number?" "I didn't," he replied. "Someone gave it to me. Someone who said I owed you the truth." Her heart began to race. What truth? A long breath came through the line. "I wasn't the mastermind," he said. "I was a middleman. I moved money. I closed doors. I kept quiet." Daniel leaned closer, listening. "There's someone above all of this," her father continued. "Someone Reed answered to." Maya's fingers went cold. "Who?" "I don't know his name," he said, "only that he's called the Architect." Daniel stiffened. "He's not a myth," Daniel muttered. "I told them. He doesn't get his hands dirty," her father continued. "He builds systems, corruption networks. If one man falls, another takes his place." Maya felt sick. "Why are you telling me this now?" "Because he contacted me," her father said. Silence crashed into her ears. "He said if I truly wanted redemption, I should warn you." Daniel grabbed the phone. "Warn her about what?" Her father's voice trembled. "He's not coming for money." Maya's breath caught. "He's coming for leverage," her father said. "And the only leverage left is you." The call ended. Maya dropped the phone. For several seconds, neither of them spoke. Then Daniel stood. "We leave. Tonight." "Where?" she asked. "Somewhere he won't expect." They drove through the night, switching vehicles twice. Phones powered off and wrapped in foil like Daniel had once taught her, back when she thought he was being paranoid. By dawn, they reached a small inland town that barely appeared on maps. For a few days, nothing happened. No calls, no shadows, no strange cars. Maya almost convinced herself it was over. Then she saw him, a man sitting alone in the cafe across the street, reading a newspaper, not watching her, which made it worse. That night, she told Daniel, he didn't panic, he simply nodded. He wants us to know he's here. The following morning, a note appeared under their door. 3 words, "You did well." Maya's hands shook. Daniel read it once, then burned it in the sink. "He's testing you," Daniel said. "He wants to see if fear still works." Maya exhaled slowly. "I'm done being afraid." That evening, she left alone. Daniel tried to stop her. "You don't confront people like him," he said sharply. "I'm not confronting him," she replied calmly. "I'm removing his power." She walked back to the cafe. The man looked up as she approached. He smiled politely. "Miss Carter," he said. "Please, sit." Her stomach twisted at how easily he said her name. "You're very calm," she said, sitting anyway. "I've been watching you since the wedding," he replied. "You surprised me." She clenched her jaw. "You destroyed my life." He tilted his head. "I refined it." Her hands tightened into fists beneath the table. "You used my father. You used Daniel. You used me." "Yes," he said simply. "And yet you're still standing." She leaned forward. "So why are you here?" "To offer you a place," he said. "People like you don't go back to normal. You've seen too much." She laughed softly. "You think I want to become you?" "No," he said. "I think you want control." She met his eyes. "I want freedom." He studied her for a long moment. Then he said, "Freedom is an illusion." She reached into her bag, not for a weapon, for a recorder. She placed it on the table and pressed play. His own voice filled the space, clear, calm, confessing. His smile vanished. "You shouldn't have that," he said quietly. "You shouldn't have said those things," she replied. Sirens echoed in the distance. He leaned back, almost impressed. "You learned quickly." She stood. "I learned from the man who loved me enough to disappear." As officers rushed in, he didn't resist. He only watched her. "This isn't the end," he said softly as they cuffed him. She met his gaze without trembling. "It is for me." Weeks later, the world moved on. News cycles changed. New scandals replaced old ones. But Maya finally slept through the night. One morning, as sunlight poured through the window, Daniel turned to her. "We could still do it," he said gently. She smiled. "Do what?" "Get married, for real this time." She thought about the altar, the empty space, the message that changed everything. Then she nodded. "But no big venue," she said. "No guests who don't know the truth." He laughed softly. "Deal." They married quietly by the sea. No audience, no secrets. Just 2 people who had survived something meant to break them. As they stood together, Maya realized something she'd never understood before. Some love stories don't begin at the altar. Some begin when everything falls apart. And sometimes, the groom doesn't come to the wedding, not because he doesn't love you, but because loving you means saving your life. Maya stood barefoot in the sand long after the ceremony ended. The ocean whispered in front of her, steady and endless. And for the first time since that wedding day, her chest didn't feel tight when she breathed. Daniel stood behind her, arms wrapped gently around her waist. "You're quiet," he said. "I'm thinking," she replied. "Dangerous habit." She smiled faintly. "Do you ever wonder what would have happened if you'd come that day?" He rested his chin against her shoulder. "Every day." She turned to face him. "Would we have lasted?" He didn't answer immediately. "That version of us," he said slowly, "was innocent, beautiful, but blind." She nodded. We would have believed love was enough. And now? He asked. Now we know love requires courage. They stood there until the sun dipped lower, painting the sky orange. Later that night, as they lay together listening to waves crash beyond the window, Maya spoke softly. I used to think being strong meant never being afraid. Daniel turned toward her. Now I know strength is choosing to act even when you are. He brushed her hair back gently. You saved me. She shook her head. You saved me first. Silence settled between them, not uncomfortable, but full. Weeks later, letters arrived. From strangers, people who had followed the case, people who had lost loved ones to the same network, people who said her courage gave them hope. Maya read everyone, and each time she understood something new. Pain doesn't disappear, it transforms. One afternoon, while sorting through old boxes, she found her wedding dress, still wrapped in plastic, still white. She stared at it for a long time. Then she folded it carefully and donated it, not because it hurt, but because she no longer needed to hold on to the ghost of who she used to be. That night, she told Daniel. He kissed her forehead. I'm proud of you. Months passed. The world slowly forgot. But Maya never forgot the message, the one that changed everything. Sometimes she replayed it, not because it frightened her anymore, but because it reminded her of the moment she learned the truth. That love isn't proven by showing up, it's proven by sacrifice. On the anniversary of the wedding that never happened, Daniel took her back to the original venue. It was quiet now, empty. They stood where the aisle once was. Do you regret it? She asked softly. Not for a second, he said. Because if I had walked toward that altar, I would have been walking you into danger. She squeezed his hand. And instead, you walked away to save me. He smiled sadly. Hardest thing I've ever done. She leaned into him. And the bravest. They left together, hand in hand. No fear chasing them. No shadows waiting. Just life. And love. And a future they earned. Not through perfection, but through survival. Because sometimes the most terrifying message isn't a warning. It's a revelation. A truth that forces you to see love differently. And once you do, you're never the same again.